guys, I'm Tarik Merryface and welcome to Chronicles of a Flying Instructor. Today we're talking about an alternator failure and a potential new first solo on the very first flying day of the new year. In the news, self-flying drone being tested self-flying passenger drone being tested, and an inaugural meeting of the London Flying Club coming up later this month. And finally, shops selling drones are giving dangerous advice to customers. So, strap your kneeboards on and plug your headsets in because we're about to start exercise 10. And of course, we will have some feedback. Hi guys, I hope you're okay. Happy New Year. I hope you had a fantastic New Year. I had a great one myself. Now, I am using the onboard microphone of the laptop, so apologies if I'm sounding distant and echoey. Now, I want to talk to you about a few things. So first, let's talk about my flying. First flying day of the year was yesterday for me, and it was quite exciting. First off, I took a student up and did some circuits. We did 6 circuits. We looked at glide approaches, we looked at flapless, normal approaches, we looked at was it airspeed failure and DI failure and altimeter failures and all that. And just looked at everything, consolidated everything. We also looked at an engine failure on takeoff, an engine failure on the go-around, and it was great because he's awesome. I think he's ready. I recommended him to a unrestricted flight instructor, and hopefully he's meant to be doing his solo right now, which is what I really hope happens. But the wind forecast is getting worse for today, so I'm not sure whether he'll actually be able to go. So that's that. Now the exciting bit, the alternator failure. So this previous guy was student number 9. Student number 4 came up with me in the afternoon, and he's really keen, really eager, but he hasn't been flying a lot, and I think he's a bit of in a rut doing circuits all the time. So took him out to do exercise 17. Sorry, that's that's PFL's practice force landings. So I gave him a brief, and we went out to the local flying area, and then we're flying the PA-38, by the way, and then he points at the low voltage light. And he's like, what's that flashing? What's that for? And I looked and said, oh, that's the low voltage. And then I checked the alternator output, and it was at 0. But the low volt was flashing, not on the constant. It's like, oh, that's weird. So I turned off all the lights, basically tried to download the system and recycle the alternator. The light went out, but the alternator was still not putting any voltage output. Now, I'm not mechanically minded per se. I don't really know how it works in these aircraft, so I just assumed it was an alternator failure. I don't know what it actually was, but I didn't want to risk running out of basically running out of juice halfway through the flight. So I turned around, informed Glasgow I was turning around because I had a potential alternator failure, and they treated it like an emergency. And I said, like, guys, this is not an emergency. I'm VFR. I don't need my instruments to fly to the airport, and I am familiar with the radio failure procedures. And they reminded me, if you lose radio contact, follow the radio failure emergency procedures. But they cleared me final from like 20 miles away. Now, I know it's quite common in the US, but it's really not common here in Europe. And I can't fly direct because of the terrain. We're just going to follow the normal route. And we're all good. Everything is safe. We're perfectly fine. But I think we were running out of juice because my student asked me at one point, is this dangerous? And I was like, no, look. We can still the engine will still run even with the master off. So I turn off the master, and then I turn it back on. See, when we don't have any battery, the engine still runs. So we're still perfectly safe. The flight controls aren't electric, and the engine runs. So there's no reason to be worried. We can still fly the aircraft, which is what ultimately matters. But as I did that, the transponder wouldn't turn back on. So I have a feeling that's because battery ran out of juice there, or was running out of juice. As the transponder is usually the first thing to go. So we landed and everything. They had the fire services waiting for us, the whole shebang. So I called them, thanked them and everything. And I called the people at the tower and said, thank you very much for being so expeditious. We really appreciate all the effort you put into get us in quickly. But just so you know, VFR pilots, it's not such a huge deal to have an alternator failure because we fly visually. We don't need our instruments to navigate. But they're saying, yeah, but we were worried about the fact that you didn't have any lights because of an electrical download, and the other planes wouldn't be able to see you. Which, I guess is a valid argument, but it kind of took me by surprise a little bit. So that's that. So student number 4 got an interesting experience, and Alternator failed. So not great. Or potentially failed. I don't know, something to do with the brush or something or other. As I said, I'm not mechanically well informed of these things, and actually I do want to look this up, and that's part of what I'm going to do today. Let's move on to the news. I'm going to put the two drone stories next to each other because they're kind of related. So self-flying passenger drones being tested. That's really cool. So from flyer.co.uk, and guess who's written the article? It's Dave Calderwood again. I really like this guy. The first flying passenger carrying EHang 184 drone has started flight tests. The Chinese company EHang has issued the following report, video and photos. Now, obviously you can't see them. Sorry, but I recommend really checking them out. I think they're electric motors, if I'm not mistaken. And they're not flown by the person in the aircraft. I think it's like on some sort of autopilot or something along those lines. But watch the video. It's awesome. It's really, really, really cool. And also read the article. Of course, it's all linked in the description below. But speaking of drones and flying them, shops giving dangerous advice on drone use. This is an LBC investigation. That's a leading Britain's conversation. It's a radio show, and this is the online article. And this was published today. Now, the LBC investigation, basically, they went into shops and they asked for advice and recorded that advice about buying drones. And I'm going to play some of that audio for you. So here goes.
Well, technically there aren't any rules.
So you don't have to be careful about flying it close to buildings and stuff like that?
No, I mean, the only thing you have to really look out for is flying it near a plane.
Okay.
You go very, very high and it could interfere with planes, so you need to be very, very careful with those kind of ones.
And do you guys have the rules and stuff about what you can and can't do?
And you don't need to be overly cautious, just, common sense and not trying to kill someone with it. Obviously, again, common sense and just, thinking about others' safety as well. As well as your own.
Okay, cool. And these have all got cameras. Are there any rules about like where you can and can't film and stuff?
No, there's no rules.
All right, thanks very much.
Cool.
Cheers.
I'm going into Maplin to see what they say about drones.
Everyone loves a drone.
Okay. And then do you have to like send away ID or how do you know?
Just
so you just put your name in.
Just the email address. You can even put fake names if you want, But
Okay, that's 51 seconds of the 2-minute 10 audio segment. Go ahead and listen to the whole thing. Link in the description again, lbc.co.uk. I'm going to read part of the article because it says, LBC reporter Vincent McAvenny went to 9 different shops to purchase a drone, and only one, Apple, gave the correct advice on where you are allowed to fly them. The other shops told Vincent that drones can be flown everywhere, including right up to the fence of Heathrow Airport, according to Hamleys. So now they say there are large no-fly zones for drones around airports following a series of near collision with airplanes, while drone use is also banned around army bases and prisons. Drones have to be flown in your line of sight at all times, and they can't go above 120 meters. And that's just short of the height of the London Eye. You can't fly any drone with a camera within 50 meters of buildings, vehicles, or people. Now this is just a small rundown of the CAA rules, but here's the thing. Shops don't know, and they're giving people dangerous advice. And a lot of pilots I know are very much on the sort of making things prohibited. And, we can kind of understand them when you get near mid-air collisions and stupid people doing stupid things. But they're not stupid people, they're ignorant people because they don't know the rules. Especially when they buy drones from people who sell them and telling them this nonsense. So, we're pilots, we might not necessarily know the rules for drone flying in specific, but we do know the CAA and similar agencies. So I think it's really down to us to inform the public. So tell our friends, okay, these are the rules for drone flying. You can't do A, B, C, D, and this is how you fly it, be safe, etc. And if we don't do this, no one else will, and people are going to get in trouble, drones are going to cause accidents, and the end result is going to be prohibition, which I don't think is a good idea. So that's my personal opinion. You guys tell me what you think. And moving on now to the inaugural meeting of the London Flying Club. It's going to take place at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday the 18th of January. So that's in 15 days, 2 weeks' time. And it's going to be The Lounge at Corney and Barrow, 25 Fenchurch Avenue. Yes, I'm reading all these out. I don't know where this is. I can't make it, but it's really interesting. So I'm going to read this again. This was published on Tuesday, 27th of December. As one of Europe's great cities, London has a large aviation community, and the London Flying Club provides a forum for pilots and aerospace enthusiasts alike. The club will promote the benefits and joys of general aviation and bring members educational and entertaining speakers on all things aviation. So it's really, really interesting. Again, a link in the comment section below. This was published on UKGA. Wish I could make it. I can't. But I really recommend that if you can make it, you do. Anything that's sort of educational and helps you socialize with other pilots and stuff, definitely awesome. And I don't think you need to be a pilot to go to this. So if you're just an aviation enthusiast or you like flight simulator or something and you want to learn something, go meet people who know things about planes and learn from them and have a great time. So that's that done, public announcement done. So I'm going to move on to the feedback. And puberty hit me. Now, Rob S. gave me some feedback as well, but I'm going to leave that till the end. So Fly Me Some says, "Hey man, I'm really enjoying the journey. I've been a long time subscriber, way back when you didn't even complete your instrument and commercial. I'm a pilot in the process of finishing up my commercial and multi. If you ever come to Turkey, I'd be happy to host and show you around." Difficulties reading. So Fly Me Some, thank you so much. Not just for inviting me over to Turkey, which is awesome. If I ever go up there, I'll definitely hit you up. That's really an honor. But also, thank you for being a long-time subscriber. Really appreciate it. When I read your comments, I had to sit down and think about where I've come to, where I am now. I mean, I started off really the very basics, and when I made this YouTube channel, I was a low-hour private pilot that was not current because I was doing university and couldn't afford to fly. And now I'm a flight instructor, and just thought about the whole journey, and it's just crazy. And it's awesome to know that someone like yourself was with me through that whole thing. So thank you very, very much. Now Aris, who's an old school friend of mine, he often comments on my videos. Aris, thanks again, mate. Really nice guy. He's a pilot in the Middle East, I believe, flying the A320. And he wrote a comment about the airspace changes. I'm not going to read the whole comment, but I am going to post it in the description below because it's really interesting with some really useful links if you want to educate yourself. So I'm going to read part of the comment, not the whole thing. So, I was quite surprised that the UK are only now pushing for airspace change, especially from what I've seen as a step away from ground-based nav aids here in Asia and Australia. In regards to VOR to VR navigation for GA aircraft, a move to more advanced GPS-based systems would be welcome, especially in terms of exposure to different systems similar to those in use at the airlines. However, I believe there isn't a suitable and advanced alternative that provides the reliability and redundancy that will allow the total removal of ground-based nav aids. Added with the cost of installing and maintaining such equipment might make it more of a challenge. So then he talks about strategies, BPN, RNP, RNPAR, etc. And he explains it. He lays it all out, and he puts some links to help you explain it. So if you don't understand it, and honestly, I only understand part of RNP and all that. So the documents were really useful to basically clear things up a little. So thank you, Aris. Really, really cool. Definitely recommend you guys go ahead, read the whole comment, either in the description below or in the previous video, and click on the links and have a read through that too. So, Demi's World. You should come to the EuroGA meetup in Roskilde. Roskilde, is that right, Demi? Roskilde. So that's EKRK in May. Take a couple of students with you and make their cross-country flight this way. That's an awesome idea, Demi, but Scotland has terrible weather, and not just terrible, unreliable weather, so I don't think we can go that far and be guaranteed to come back on time. So that's not going to happen in terms of flying with my students, but maybe I could come over in May, depending on my financial and work situation. We'll see how things go. But yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm always up for a GA meetup. Let's see. So thanks, Demi again for the comment. Now, Gemini Jets J XXXX says, "Awesome, I subscribed." Awesome. Thank you, Gemini. I really appreciate that. Now, let's go back to Rob S.'s comment, because he does talk a little bit about some stuff I want to talk with the sponsors. So, excellent. I'll check out Diamond Flight soon. Would I need to get a Swedish Class 1 even though I have a UK Class 1? First question, no, you do not, Rob. You can quite easily do the skill test for the UK CPL, MEIR, all that, in Sweden with a Swedish examiner. So you shouldn't have an issue with that. All you need is the same medical from the same license as the initial anyways. And the reason it was so complicated for me is because the French were very complicated about who would give me a skill test. And so I just decided to switch over for a Swedish license just because it would be easier that way, and I would be in a system where it's not always so complicated to get things done. So that's my reason for moving from one to the other. But you, as a UK Class 1 holder and PPL holder, you can just go to Diamond Flight School if you want, and do your training with them, and then do your skill test and fill out all the UK paperwork, send that off, and you'll get your license. Moving on. It has been windy here in the Midlands. That's referring to the last video. Here it goes. I love Ron Machado. He's a great instructor. He really makes learning fun. If you're watching this and you have Microsoft Flight Simulator but haven't taken the built-in flight lessons, immediately do so. Rod brings a certain extra pinch of magic to flight lessons, which I think every pilot should get to experience. Good luck with the affiliate program. Would you recommend using his products even though many of us are based in the UK and Europe? Are there many things that we will need to convert or correct for? Okay, Rob, here's my answer. Yes, I definitely recommend it even if you're in the UK or Europe. And you're right, Rod is awesome. Now, Microsoft Flight Simulator, as you were saying, does have inbuilt lessons with Rod Machado, basically teaching you the basics of the PPL, the instrument, all that kind of stuff. And they're really good lessons. I mean, you got Rod talking in your ear, and he has a little bit of humor, and it's actually quite nice. So if you do have Microsoft Flight Simulator X, or you're considering getting it, get it and try those lessons. They're awesome. Now he's talking about the affiliate program. I mentioned it in the last episode. I do have an affiliate program with Rod Machado's website where I get a kickback for if you guys buy something using the link in the description below to go on this website and buy stuff. And I got one. Someone bought something through the affiliate link. I don't know who it was, but whoever you are, thank you so much. That's really exciting for me. I got my first kickback from that. It's awesome, and I'm gonna recommend it again, and I'm gonna recommend the same thing as I did last time. It's about $24.95 right now. It's on a huge discount, and it's about 17 lectures of audio, basically of audio lectures by Ron Machado, and they're really good. Whoever bought it, tell me what you think. Write a review here on this video. Tell me if you like those audios, because I personally love them. I've listened to them over and over again, just in the car or just basically traveling or whatever. It's really interesting, really informative. So please, if you're interested in Rod's stuff, he's got PDF books, he's got ebooks, he's got videos and audios, and even e-learning centers. And they're all really good quality. And the reason I say you can buy them even if you're in the UK and Europe, some of the stuff obviously not, like air law, right? That's going to be well different in the US than it is here in Europe and the UK. But stuff like aircraft general knowledge, principles of flight, meteorology, all that is the same. It works the same way. So that knowledge is still science, and science is irrespective of nation. There might be some terminology differences, but that's it. So I definitely recommend you getting his products. Okay, that's all the feedback done. And one of the sponsors done, Rod Machado's affiliate program. Go on his website using the link in the description below. That way I get a kickback. And then, talking quickly about something else. I am not sponsored by this company. In fact, I've paid to get one of their products. That's Soundbounce. And Soundbounce was created, the original company was created by a university friend of mine, her and her friends. She is a freaking genius. She has a degree in physics, and a lot of her research products were based around this. Soundbounce is for ear protections. They basically got these ear protection things, and it's a new material which changes states depending on what frequencies and the amplitudes they go through. And the idea is the changing state blocks out harmful frequencies, but lets safe ones like voices go through. So that means you don't have to take off the headset to talk to people, which is usually when hearing damage occurs in sort of like construction areas or airports and stuff. And I'm really excited about this technology. I really want this Kickstarter project to work, because it would mean that we might potentially get it moving into the aviation sector, which is really cool, like getting aviation headsets. I have active noise cancellation headsets, but I always have to change the batteries very often, and it doesn't really quite do the noise cancellation that effectively. I still get a little bit of ringing in my ears, so I'm really excited about this new product, and I really recommend you check it out, especially if you work in a noisy environment. If you work in a noisy environment, these headsets would be really beneficial for you. So that's it, guys. That's it for this video. If you have any comments, you want to share this, please do. Press the like button. If you didn't like, press the dislike button. And just basically talk to me in the comment section below. You don't have to buy the Rod Machado stuff. You don't have to buy the Signbound stuff, but I really recommend that you do. But again, obviously, you do what you want to. So that's it for this video. I'm Tarik Merryface. I just realized, there you go. I'm Tarik Merryface. I'll see you guys next time, and happy flying.